Hello everybody, thanks for coming. So this is the 5th edition of our The Arts and Craft of Game Programming series. It's my pleasure to welcome Ivan Barroso. Everybody knows him, of course. He's the guy whose writings we read eagerly when we want to know about the video games in Portugal. So it's a great pleasure to have you here. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming. You are all so beautiful. I'll start right from the beginning for those that don't know me. Who is this guy? Everyone else. Well, I wrote 2 books, so I'm book author of História, videojogos, and service games. I'm finishing the encyclopedia now. That's over there. If anyone wants to check it, that's just a prototype. That is himself. Also writes for Jornal Público. I'm the Chief-Editor of the Pushstart magazine.
May I pass it around?
Yeah, sure. I used to work with Sega and the website Creative Gamer in the UK. I'm also the coordinator of the degree, the university degree. Most people don't know this, so I have always to say it's a university degree in Etic, since Etic now changed a little bit their scheme. It's 2 years in Portugal, the 3rd year in the UK. Then I also teach in Restart, Videogames, and Universidade Lusofona, also Videogames. Well. And I'm responsible for the video game sectors in the Videogames League, Festival In, and Microsoft Game Dev Camp. And it takes a little bit of time. For the first season of Game Talk, we finished with 180,000 views. It was a video game talk show that went on Twitch. And finally, and not the least, I made games from 2006 to 2002 to 2014 and worked for 2 US companies and 1 from the UK. I breathe and live, I am a video game, basically. What will I discuss today? When Jornal invited me to come, I said, I'm sorry, but I'm not a programmer. For me, programming is black magic. People write stuff on the keyboard and then somehow in the screen it starts moving. Black magic. I don't know how it works. But he said, but you can talk about a lot of things. I said, yeah, I can. So, what will I talk? I will talk why you need university on your path. Or maybe you don't. Let's see. What is the work path? There's 2 routes. There's super indie route and there's the corporate routes. And how to get into those 2 paths. What is freelancing and what to expect when you're freelancing. What are the Portuguese game companies tiers? Majorly, who is hiring, who's in different kind of tiers, and small tips, so what salary you should expect, how to make a freelancer budget, the most wanted positions, so all good stuff, I think. Before I start, I'll start by the academic path. That's the most easiest one now to speak, because you're also in the academic path. So, this is based on my research, my talks with my colleagues, both national, international, because since I'm in Etic and the degree is completely British, I have to talk to my colleagues that are in England that, well, they have games for 40 years, so they know a little bit more than us. So this is all based in that. Okay, there's a tool that you always need in university. Anyone wants to guess?
Internet.
Internet? No.
Computers.
No. That's the basic answer that I always hear, but the tool that you need, it's the pencil. It's the pencil that makes you take notes, it's the pencil that makes you make drafts, it's the pencil that makes you do it. If you are in the shower and you have an idea, you're going to get the pencil, not going to, I have to turn on the computer and not to write. Doesn't happen. I always hear that. It's computer, software, and hardware. Everyone thinks they're a Photoshop master at the beginning, they're not. And every single year, including yours, because I have students here, there's always someone that says, I can do things much better in the computer. And the reason is they can't. They never do. Because you're still learning, and it's obvious. I also hear this a lot before the university starts. Someone's saying to me that he's really proud because he made 300 hours of League of Legends or GTA 5, whatever. That's cool, but it's not really important if you're in university. Because what you're basically saying to me is that if you eat a lot, you'll be like a good cook. you know, or that if you enjoy an art piece, if you have a promo art in your bedroom, then that means that you're a great artist. You're not. It's cool that you know those stuff, but it's not the most important thing. Creating something is different of enjoying something, always. So, a lot of people also ask me this, why should I go to university? Isn't everyone in this industry almost self-taught? True. These degrees are really recent among us. But there's too many reasons why you should select. The first one is you will jumpstart knowledge. This means that instead of you going on your own trying to discover something over tutorials and then all of a sudden the tutorial doesn't give you an answer because there's an error that happens and it doesn't give you an answer, you'll have someone there, professor, luckily, that will say, yeah, that's happening because something, something, something. So instead of you taking 5 years to reach to some point, university can just take 3 years or lesser than that. And this comes to the next point. It's here where you learn to overcome or avoid mistakes. Because it happens every year, like someone reaches to university and says, I have an idea for a game and it should be like this. And then like, no, because this is going to bring this problem, that problem, and that problem. You all know this because it all happened to you and we're always right. Now, the next two reasons, it's the reasons that no one thinks about it. And I hear this from a lot of people that didn't went to university. So they say, I don't need a university because I discovered stuff on my own, which is completely valid. But they forget two things. First one is your university to make connections. It's here where you meet a lot of people that will be important for your future. If you're at home doing a tutorial, okay, you're not going to meet that many people that will help you in your future. Might meet someone, but not all. The second one is this, you'll make friends here, and you make companions, and you will know people from other areas. I don't know how many times it's happened to me after finishing university, someone asking me, I needed graphic design, that it was not even my area, but I known someone that was studying with me and said, oh, I know a guy that was studying with me. And same happened to me. Someone would refer me because I studied with them. We were not even in the same class, not even in the same years. So these are the two main reasons for it. Also, everyone thinks that there is a magic paper that's universities give at the end of 3 years or more. Depends. Some people study for 10, but I think it's ridiculous. The paper is not magic. It doesn't open your future. You still have to work for it. A lot of people think it's magic, like you get that paper, then you put it on the wall of your office and move to it and say, I'm unemployed. That's maybe what happens. So work always for your future. In university, this is also something that I talk to all my colleagues. It's where you have plenty of time, really, really huge amounts of time. Nobody seems to see this, only afterwards. Everyone says, okay, I had plenty of time before. Not now when I'm working, not now when I'm raising a family, not now. So use that time to do workshops, to participate in conferences, in game jams, to create your future connections. In other words, just prepare yourself because you will need all these things. Don't stay in bed because it's coffee. No, today it's cold, it's 10 degrees. It's not even cold, 10 degrees, it's not that cold. Oh, I'll stay here, or I'm going to spend all night to reach bronze or diamond or whatever because I have no homework. You can do this from time to time. Don't make it a habit, like no homework, immediately walk. No. Try to make the most of this free time because you will miss it. And I'm pretty sure if you don't do this, in 3 years we will have this talk again. Okay, first year university. It's really going to be hard. The main reason why it's going always to be hard is because you become an adult. And so far you're being treated like a kid. And all of a sudden, whoops, I'm an adult, I have responsibilities. I am no longer a kid. That's why most people find university hard and give up in the first year. Because you will learn how to motivate yourself and exactly this, pull your shit together. Don't give any more crap. You're an adult. And what people also don't think about is studying video games in university is still studying in university. So, quotations and sources are always necessary. You can quote me on that. And everyone says to me in the first year, like, I'll use the internet. Yeah, internet is great, it's full of facts and people with opinions. Almost all of them wrong. I already found a lot of sites with a lot of wrong information or wrongly translated sometimes from Japanese to English. It happens a lot. It's wrongly translated. Books are still the main source of information. And if you want to use the internet, it's great. You can still use it, but you have to cross-reference, always. Or if you want to use a documentary, cross-reference, always. Books, internet, and videos. You can all use, not any exclusively. Even because books sometimes get out of date because they got published in a certain time of year, and you need to prove that, well, things moved a little bit. You can get an interview from a documentary or from some good website that's valid, not like Wikipedia. Wikipedia is forbidden, as I know. Okay. Doing games, a lot of people think it's just, I just have to pay attention to E3, GDC, that's it. No, you have to pay attention to other art forms. Always pay attention to other art forms. See what's going on. Even fashion. A lot of people joke, why do I need fashion? People in fashion just, use those humongous dresses and super skinny and look like they didn't eat like for 10 years. But people that work in the fashion industry, they're great artists. They concept really, really quick. It's, if you see someone from fashion industry working, it's like, whoa, they're really, really quick creating concepts. So learn from them. All the others, I think it's obvious. Portfolio is one of your main objectives from day one. I don't know how many times I've got to students that it's the third year and they still don't have portfolio. They always say the same thing. I'll do it at the end, or even worse, when the school ends. When the school ends, I'll think about it because it's holidays, Then it's beach and so on, and I'll do it at my own pace because you deserve it. You were 3 years studying, so you deserve to go to the beach. You deserve to go somewhere. No longer do you need to worry. That's not the way that it works. Portfolio starts from day one, because when you do that at the end of the year, what you're going to do is vomit everything that you've done without any criteria, and put there because you don't know how to do it. If you start to do it from day one, you'll learn what are the better things, how do people react to your work, how do you present yourself, how can you create more buzz around it. That takes years and not just a few weeks. Never works. The important thing of the portfolio is technical and theoretical knowledge. It will make you desirable. Like everyone will want to hire you. Like they cannot say no. This guy is so good, I cannot say no. And when I say technical is easy, right? Like, this guy knows Photoshop, literally, or knows Illustrator, or knows 3D. Theoretical knowledge, it's a little bit tricky to prove, but it's there. Because if you understand semiotics, if you understand theory of color, it's there on your work. And people say, okay, this guy understands what is the theory of color. This guy understands what is semiotic. This guy understands how should he present himself. He's organized. All these things count. It's also okay to fail. University is the best place to fail because it's a safe net. If you fail here, maybe a professor will yell at you. That's it. It's the maximum. Maybe bad grade, that's maximum. If you fail in the real world, you get fired. Yet you will be known in the workplace like the guy that did some mistake. There aren't any formulas for success. A lot of people try this, there aren't. But there are some solutions that can make like the risks disappear slightly, and that's helpful. But even so, if you fail, if you put all these solutions and still you fail, you always will learn more from failing than from the instant success, as it's called. Because failure sometimes, well, when I was in the US, I come across this thing that they value a lot people that were failing. I found it weird because here in Portugal, if you fail, if you bankrupt a business, it's like, oh, tragedy. You were so bad that you bankrupt your business. In the US, some people really get that experience like, oh, it's important. Why did you fail? Did you learn why did you fail? Because it's a life experience. Here it's still a tragedy to fail. Also, this is also the things that I hear a lot in first year that is like, I want to be the ideas man. I played so much. I have some great ideas. I'll be a great game designer. And probably some of you already said this. I know some of you said this. Well, in reality, game designer is a profession, in my opinion, and the opinion of several other persons that work in the industry for years. It's for experienced persons. It's not a junior position. It's something that is a senior. Isn't the ideas man. The game designer is usually the guy that knows the team. He knows what everyone in the team is doing. He will collect information, he will collect all the ideas. He will know that this programmer probably cannot do 3D environments. That is better in 2D. That, or maybe his art team, it's better doing cartoons than lifelike 3D. He will know all these things, and then he will create a plan, and then he will create the monetization techniques or the strategy techniques of retention. He will create all of this. He's usually a person that absorbs everything. That's why he needs to be an experienced person, because usually can talk the language, what's called the programmer, talks the language of the artist, and then he gathers all that and creates something. I can give also this example. In Japan, that's the second biggest market, they didn't have even the name game designer. What they call game designer was a planner for years. Not they call it a game designer, but for years it was a planner. That's what it means to be a game designer, not someone that has great ideas. Everyone has great ideas. I have great ideas, you have great ideas, he has great ideas. Everyone has it. The problem is everyone really has it. You're not the only one. Second year, super hard, even harder than the first one. Why? Because it's the place where you mature, because you learn something. Usually the first year I always have introduction to something, and the second year it's second part, development. How to learn to take serious, to be thinking like, okay, now I will improve myself, and time to seriously think in the marketplace. Again, not once a few weeks before ending the degree, for the same reasons. Because if you go on holidays, the job marketplace doesn't go on holidays that often, and you will get, I don't know, back in September, maybe you'll still continue in the beach, then I'll try in October, then November comes along, and December, and January, and you start seeing, okay, I'm losing a lot of time trying to get just a simple interview. But if you use this time before, you would be ready when the degree ends. This is not written in stone. Some people really can get away after finishing your degree. But in my opinion, it's better to be thinking about it years before it reaches to the point, not just a few weeks. Basically, pull your shit together, okay? If you don't pull your shit together, you're losing everyone's time, including your own. You probably don't know that yet, but you're losing everyone's time. Also, this happens in first year. Some of my colleagues said it's in the second year. But what everyone says is like, I'm very good. I'm the best. The problem is there's other best spots. I'm not saying that there's 500 good games and that's reached daily, but at least 10% of them will be good. So at the end of the week, there's thousands of good games. How will you make people talk about yours? There's where marketing comes along. There's a good reason why the budget of marketing right now is higher than the budget of producing a game by a lot. And if you think about it, you are probably anxious to get your hands on something that's going to be released this year. And when it gets to E3, you will see a trailer and everyone in the internet is going to talk about it. And it's just a trailer. Last year it was Final Fantasy VII, the remake, and Shenmue 3. All those things, super good. Did you see the game? No, nobody saw it. But the marketing puts themselves in the move. And you already did know this, if you didn't pay attention. Sometimes what is announced like a super nice game, you reach the market and it's just like, it's okay, it's not that good. And I can tell you the example of Evolve. It's one of those. Watch Dogs, also one of those. And even Diablo 3 from Blizzard, and Blizzard has that big concern about quality. When it reached the market in the first weeks, it was just okay. It wasn't a great game, but the marketing worked really well. And when you're saying stuff like this, you're also saying stuff like this. Yes, I don't need to sell myself. I'm so good, everyone will hire me. Problem, again, there's at least 5,000 other students finish their degree annually, plus the others that were doing tutorials at home and so on. So prepare yourself to sell from day one. It's your responsibility to be preparing to sell yourself, because it will arise an opportunity. I'm not going to say everyone will see an opportunity coming, but maybe some people don't see it. But when the opportunity appears, you better be prepared for it. You better say, I'm here, I have a portfolio, I can do this, I can do this. Do you see all my works? This is what I can do. Because it's that important, because the opportunities come and go. And then that's how regrets are born, like, I wasn't that good at that time. One quick way to do you're selling yourself in the job marketplace is this one. It's social networking. And social networking, it's not just to see how fun and drunk you are, and who's been a champion and who's not, and if it was offside, and how beautiful are these roses that my lover gave me. That's all very nice things. They're super useless. Always have at least one network, one social network. There's a lot of them. Just choose one. That will be the one that is going to show how good you are at your job. You can even open just a Facebook account for your game or for your company, just to show others how good can you be. I have this example. It's already happening in a lot of Europe and in a lot of in US. People are now selecting their employees by screening what are they publishing in social networks. I have two examples of two persons in Portugal that wasn't accepted in some jobs because it's becoming also here like, what is this guy saying? I can give you this example. This is what really happens. It was here. Person applied for a job, he passed the first interview. On the second interview, they decided, okay, now that this guy is good and so on, let's see what he publishes online. Who is he, really? Because in an interview you can say, I'm the best person in the world, I'm super talented, super perfectionist, I work, I give 200%, those kind of things, like you sound like a football player after a game, always saying the same stuff. They checked, and they found a lot of jokes about women. Those from 9gag that everyone finds funny, like the women's place is making a sandwich, stuff like that, you know. And he didn't get hired because in that team there was a lot of women, and the person that was hiring saying, okay, this can be troublesome because this guy does, maybe he was joking, maybe he's not, I cannot be for sure, and this can create some, problems here with the team because we have a lot of women. Put aside. I have 50 more guys to see. The minimum excuse is enough. Internet never forgets. Always be the most pertinent possible. It was offside. Champion. It can come to this place, someone not hiring you because you're from the wrong club. Because in Portugal sometimes people think like that. It's horrible, but it's true. Also, attention to detail. It's really, really important. You can make one mistake from times to times. No one will understand. But don't make a mistake, for example, in every slide. Just make a mistake in one slide. Everyone will understand it's just something that happened. Seriously. Okay? Also, don't be creative with excuses. Be creative with your work. There's always some student that says like, oh, the computer exploded, then my mom came, and then my cat started fighting, and then he bit on the USB pen, and then my neighbor came, and everyone exploded, and I could not deliver the work on time. I'm sorry. No one will believe you. Because a good professor will always know this. Will always know when you are lying and when it's really an accident. It already happened this year with those little boys' class, that a colleague of them lost a file. John Graça lost the file after being corrupted. But I know it was an accident because I saw him working on the file, and he brought me the file, and he brought a lot of people to try to resolve the problem. And I saw, okay, he's not lying. It was really an accident. Now, when I don't see a student and all of a sudden he says, oh, today is the deadline and I didn't have the job because something. I know, if this guy is lying, and it's really bad when you try to lie to someone and someone saying, okay, this guy is a jerk. He's trying to fool me without any point. Be fair. Be always fair. Third year, yay, even harder. Because this is where you worked like you never worked before. And if you have a social life, oh, I go every day to drink with my friends, and every weekend we go somewhere, something is wrong. You're not applying yourself enough. So don't lose time. And don't start complaining. University isn't fair, that professor hates me, and so on. That can be true. This stuff happens. It's no lie. But learn how to deal with it. Because right now, if you don't like a professor, maybe you can do it by exam or stay one more year and change professor. But when you get to the job marketplace, this is not possible. You cannot stay in one company and say, I'm not coming by the next 5 months because there's a guy here that I don't like, so I'll see you guys in 5 months. It doesn't happen. So you have to learn how to deal with these kind of persons. Better place to start, university. SafeNet is here. So start to think, how can you deal with persons that are really assholes? Take this opportunity also to learn. Okay. If you reach the third, this is happening to second, third year is like, Chris is not your personal babysitter or life coach. He doesn't have all the time on the road. Sometimes you have to be proactive by yourself, you know? You have to learn stuff by yourself. Do not think that only the degree is enough. It's never enough. Be proactive by yourself. Know persons by yourself. Go to, here in Portugal, go to a game dev camp. Go to a game meet that is monthly. Do stuff. Do really stuff, you know, pick up a fucking pencil. No, do something with the pencil, not a gamepad. Once again, it's no problem if you play from time to time, 1 hour, 2 hours. You probably also deserve to relax. But don't make it like, I have to play every day the same single game because I have time. Use the time that you have to do other things. Also, in the final year, I hear always this a lot, that someone wanting to do super humongous project, but without any bugs. Because people...
Is that even possible to make in a big company, a game without bugs?
No, never was.
Yeah.
Just for you to know, like Skyrim has 100,000 bugs and has really tight control. Games from Blizzard have also 10,000 bugs, and they really have tight controls. This stuff doesn't exist. This is a unicorn, like. Maybe one time you will see a game that doesn't have bugs, maybe you won't. This is completely unicorn. And these general games usually like team of 30 persons or more, each of these making games for the last 5 years, so really experienced people, and even so, there's bugs. So think, what are you really doing? Choose something that you can do and can prove that you can do it, instead of something that you wish you would do, but it's not the time yet. Now it's the time to show, not fantasize. Eventually we'll get here. The degree is going to be over, 3 years have passed, and you successfully complete the tutorial of your career. It was just that. 3 years was just a tutorial of your career, because the challenge will start in the job marketplace without any doubt. And you can Google for job offers, and then probably will get this. God, what have I been doing in the last 3 years? This happens also a lot of time. For my checklist, what I recommend when you finish the 3 years, you have at least to do this many things. First, you have to produce a minimum of 2 games for reaching that. It's important because every job offer is also almost asking you have to produce at least 2 games. It's rare that job offer that's good that's not asking this. Second, an active LinkedIn profile. It's really easy to open this. No. An active job-oriented social network. Can be on Facebook, can be on Twitter, can be an account that you created just to promote the games that you were doing over the years. It's important for people to see. Your online portfolio should be great. It should be like the best thing that someone looks at and says, wow, I have to hire this guy. Enough connections. It's good to know a lot of people so that they can help you from your path. Can be someone really from above, can be someone from below, can be a colleague. The most colleagues and the most friends and the most networks you create, the better it is. Someone will always know you. And domain of industry standard lingo, software, and techniques. What this means, you have to know what is a keyframe. You have to know what is a parallax. You have to know what is boom. You have to know how to say these things, what these things mean. Not to get to a job interview and the guy says, well, what is your experience with parallax? Parallax is a very complex thing that takes a long time to do. Now, you have to really know, parallax, yeah, you create a lot of sets. I already did this for this and this game. If you did 2 games, you probably did 1 or 2 times. So I have experience by doing it. Industry software standard is Photoshop, for example. You have to know Photoshop, not GameShop, not Corofo, not that super obscure manga software that you're going to swear to the person that it's so much better than Photoshop. It's so much better. Nobody cares. Photoshop, standard. You have to do Maya or 3D or 3D Studio Max. Some ask for SketchUp, others don't. So some are really optional. So start to think about this. Okay. Academic path, done. Now let's talk a little bit about the work path. Work path, there's two routes. The first one that I'll talk is the super indie route, where you be working in super creative stuff that nobody thought, or you think it's really great. It's super creative, everyone is super enthusiastic about it, but also not well paid. That's less job security. So what is the contrary of this? It's corporated routes. You go to a corporated route and you work in Barbie makeup salon or something like this. It's not that great, but in the end it pays the bills and I'm not eating tuna for 1 month. So this is a decision that you will have to do someday. If you're still living with your parents, maybe a little bit of indie, and then when you're tired, corporated. Okay, studio tiers here in Portugal. Tier 1. The tier 1 is for me composed by these two companies. That's Miniclip and Marmalade. These are international companies that have divisions here in Portugal. They also have big development teams. Miniclip has 140 persons. They said that they want to hire 170 until the end of the year. There are, I don't know, 6-7 job offers open right now. Marmalade came to Portugal real recently, but I know that they want to open more job offers, they want to expand the team. Okay, if you don't get into this, or this one are not something that you're interested in, you have tier 2. Tier 2 is these companies. Do you know them? You know them, I know that you do. Do you know them? Okay. What are these companies basically? It's national companies with medium-sized teams. They hire professionals from 1 to 2 times per year, not more than that. They always have an opening for these kind of persons. And finally, tier 3, you know these ones? Battleship you probably know because Nelly gives classes here. Tier 2 is the best name ever for a game company. Come on, yes, it's also a very good name. And what these people do is, they're small studios. They have like some of them lesser than 5 persons. But they usually hire freelancers specific time frames. So it's a good one, like to work there for a few bit and then moving on. Do you know these persons? Do you know who is this guy? Who is he? Videogador is the super indiest guy in Portugal. He does the game almost by himself. He hires freelancers from time to time. His game is in PC, Xbox One. He's now doing for Wii U and for 3DS alone. So he's a super indie guy. This guy here, Flippin is the guy that's working in the industry since the 90s, so it's one of the most experienced guys. If you manage to talk to him, it's like gold, because he has a lot of experience. And finally, do you know this one? Yeah, exactly. It's from Vika Studios. Vika Studios is one of the companies that's been growing more in the last year. It's got a big investment and he's now hiring. You should know this person by heart and light up a candle every night before you go to sleep and say thank you very much for giving us an industry. When you're freelancing is a different thing. If you are doing it in Portugal, you have to know what is a receiver and what is artist what. And what is the advantages and disadvantages of these two things. Learn from it and learn what are the responsibilities of each, because they both have responsibilities. When you're doing it internationally, you have Upwork.com and ArtStation.com. This is the ones that I recommend. Upwork is almost for everything of video games, every field. ArtStation, as the name suggests, is more for art, especially 3D. There are some people that like to work in freelance.com. I don't particularly like it, but some people say it's okay. So there it is, it's okay. Yeah. Do you know these persons? Just this one I know that he was here, so yes. This one, nobody knows him. This one is Pedro. Pedro Camacho lives on Madeira. And he made the soundtrack, one of the soundtracks of Witcher 3 from Civilization 5, and now he's working in Star Citizen. It's one of the most expensive games ever, and he lives in Madeira and is doing that. This one is Enrique Lopes. Enrique Lopes lives here in Lisbon, and he works doing 3D modeling for, he did for Rise of the Tomb Raider, he did for Ark Survival Evolved, and Call of Duty Black Ops 3. So it's possible for you to be working for a big company and still live here. Okay, small tips. This is small things that I will try to teach you or give at least a tip for it. So you're doing a job interview for an art position. What should you do? Well, bring your physical portfolio. Because a job interview is always something. It's someone for PR or human resources and then an artist or a designer. And artists and designers love to see other artists and designers' work. It always works like this. So if you bring something to show, they will probably remember you. The guy that brought that sketchbook that had that many examples, that had that very cool wizard, or it had this very cool knight. They love to see it. It causes a big impression. If on the other hand you're going to a programming position, laptop and tablets, or smartphone with your games ready to run. And if they ask, well, what did you do? It's here. I'll take it out here, ready to run. Because programmers also like to see other programmers work. Everyone is a fanboy of everyone. They want to see what you are able to do and what you are not able to do. So make a big impression always by bringing stuff. Even if they don't ask, bring it. You have nothing to lose. The only thing that you will lose is like, I don't know, it was heavy to carry it. That's the maximum that you will lose. Okay, this is a question that people ask me a lot of times, is how much should I ask for? Well, this is averages. I'm not saying that can be higher, can be lower, but usually it's like this. A junior should ask around for $8 to $10, in my opinion. While a senior should be around $25 per hour or above it. Some people work for less, some people work for more, but this is averages, what you should ask for. Programming, it's much more valuable than art. It's always been like that, it's going to be. But in art, good animators earn more. Animators that are good, it's not that animation where you put stuff moving like this, it's stuff like, it shows that it's alive, that it breathes, that it moves. And those persons are always in need. Reskinning, it's a, does anyone know what is reskinning? Okay, one person, it's not that. Reskinning is like someone buys a template of a game like Angry Birds, and then they say, I want this game now with penguins, or with bears. And they give you all the art, and you have to substitute all the art by the art that they want. There's a lot of these kind of things being asked in freelancers database, but it's quite cheap, your budgets. It's around $100 per project. Sometimes it's more. A few years ago it was cool. It was like $500 per project. Most of the times you can do this work in less than 1 week. So if you do it a lot of them, you probably reach a minimum salary really quickly. Okay. Problem with freelancing in those freelancers databases, this one is you are competing with small income countries that work really for cheap, really for cheap. Usually from Pakistan, India, all this from Taiwan, and stuff like that, they really work for cheap. But the advantage is not always with quality, and some of the times they even try to sell someone's art, and then you have, I already come across a few persons that are saying, I want reskin for my game, please not people from India or Pakistan. I have bad experience with them. This is true. Okay, promo art in France's database is usually, not all of them, but it's quite badly paid. And what they want is the screenshots, makeovers, icons for and Google Play, App Store, or Steam promo art for around $50. It can be lesser sometimes. I already seen budgets of $10. I thought it was ridiculous, and I thought nobody's going to apply, but there was a few guys from Pakistan that applied. So I said, okay, $10 must be really a lot of money there. I have no idea. But sometimes it's above it. I also seen budgets of $1,000 for it. It really depends. But it's better to expect the lowest one. Guide user interface. It's also quite cheap. People expect you to do some cute buttons. They're not thinking about you doing the menus as, you know, like you think, oh, I have to be structured and everything, and this is following the same line. No, please do me cute buttons. And that's what happens most of the time. Concept art, also developed influences database, and not that common. I'm not saying that everything is badly paid, but most of them are. Okay, you want to work for an international company. Everyone also asks me, what is the paycheck that I should expect? Usually, it goes around for 1,000 for juniors. Can be higher, can be lower, yeah. And seniors start at a minimum of 2,000. Can be higher, can be lower. But it's around these values. Okay, same situation, programming departments, here it goes. Programmers always earn more than artists. 1,500 juniors, 2,700 seniors. Game testing, it's the lowest paid, also the easiest to get in, because they're always trying to change the game testing teams. Sometimes it's necessary because it's for having someone that is virgin on the game to have completely sure that they understand the game. Sometimes they really hire full teams just doing that. But game testing is not as fun as someone thinks it is. Sometimes game testing is just go to that corner and jump 1,000 times because one time there was a bug and we want to replicate it so we can debug it. And then you're there all day jumping in the same corner. Ah, yeah, you managed? Yeah, I did manage. Great, fill this report, we'll never read it, but now go to jump in the other corner. This happens a lot of time. Marketing communication departments are really well paid in top companies, but really, really well paid. Startups usually pay really bad because they're focused in producing the product, not communicating, which for me is a mistake always. Portugal, average paycheck, 600 to 1,500. Can be less, can be higher, depends. Startups it's sometimes lower or nothing. Like you work for free and for the passion of doing it. Also big demand for concept artists, animators to be in 3D, graphic designers and communication departments. There's a big demand for it. Programmers, there's always a big demand. In the last months I see a demand for people that know Unity. It was not that common. It was more common for people that know C+, usually. This kind of languages, and know C+, or C#, stuff like that. The last ones I see someone asking for Unity, but always startups, not big companies. I didn't see, for example, Electronic Arts or Ubisoft saying, oh, we want Unity. I didn't see it. But I know that Ubisoft works with Unity. They have their own framework, but they also work with Unity, but they never ask for someone that wants Unity, they want someone that knows C+. So take it as you want it. Our country, we pay a lot of taxes. Yeah, and a lot of social security. That's horrible. Yeah, it is. You pay, if you win, I don't know, 4,000, you'll pay 1,000 to taxes. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks big time. Having said all of this, I wish you all the best of luck, because you'll need it. If you want to get in touch with me and ask me 1,000 stuff, I would ask you if you ask me next, so that I don't reach home and then I'm typing you until 2 in the morning. I already passed by that feed a few times. It was super boring, but I always answer to everyone. I'll try to answer to everyone. That's my also portfolio link if you want to see my works, and that's with the Facebook. Please bother me next, not when I'm eating or sleeping. But if you don't have time tomorrow or next day, just buzz me. Thank you very much. Any questions? The million-dollar question. People are always afraid.
How did you start in the industry? What made you start in the video game industry?
I'm crazy.
We all are crazy.
It's a bit crazy. I didn't plan for it when I was a guy like your age. There wasn't any video games degree. I bought a magazine one time from Spain, and there was like a video game degree. Saying, oh, we're probably going to open a video game degree, and I look at that and say, oh, cool, it's this. And then I search for in Portugal. No, there isn't anything. So I went to study fine arts and design. And after finishing the degree, well, I started looking around for doing stuff, you know. And when in fine arts and design, it's really a competitive area. And then I came across by accident to a job offering of a video game. It was for Innovate Works here in Portugal. And I applied, and it was to do animation. I didn't know how to do animation, so I did animation for a game that they had. It was called Duke. It's a symbol of one of the languages. It's a triangle with a red nose. I don't know. I'm too old. Okay. Then after that one, I started to look for more jobs because I really liked what I did, and I was playing video games since ever and reading magazines since ever. So I still have a stockpile of magazines of video games. Video games also brought me as mental stability during university years because sometimes you were really stressful about it, so you buy a magazine like Videogamer or Hype or whatever, and you read it and you would say, I would like so much to do this. Then I started searching online because internet is not just YouTube. YouTube back then I think didn't even exist. It was horrible. Dark ages of the internet. Another tales, Mirk and Messenger were the things that we used in the. And then I started work, and I come across forums where people were asking, and I started applying and doing jobs, and then hey, there's people in Portugal that also do this, and I met some persons, and I met another. Then I immigrated for 2 years. I was in former Yugoslavia. I also did some games there. Then I started to write books, and then I came back to Portugal because they made me a proposition to teach here. All the things that I didn't know, and I started teaching. And I'm teaching for the last 6 years, although I was teaching already in design for the last time. Too much. Too much information. Any other question? Oh, wow. Yeah, great.
Okay, I want to ask if you have any suggestions on resources for learning on your own, especially things about art and game design.
Yeah, well, my colleague even did a great thing recently that he put on an Excel every tutorial that there is that's valuable for game art. So buzz me on Facebook and I'll send you the link. It's 400 tutorials, so
okay.
You'll have until the end of your days to do them all.
Okay. This question is a bit more about the industry, especially Portuguese industry. I don't know, I don't have the feel, but I would want to ask you, is there a lot of new studios appearing in Portugal, or is that
Yeah, it's like a little bit like mushrooms, you know, like, oh, there's a new studio here. Because there's also a lot of degrees now on video games. I don't know if you know this, but there's 9 degrees in Portugal, which I also find it's an absurd amount. We don't have that. Since I'm a program coordinator of 1 degree, I find it really hard to find professors to teach that are, you know, good on the area and good at teaching. I cannot imagine so many degrees having so many professors, and some of them, you know, from different parts of the country. It's really hard. Here in Lisbon, where most of the people are, I cannot imagine, you know, up north and stuff like that. I believe that everyone is trying to do the best. I have no doubt about it that everyone is not trying to eat money or something like that. Everyone is trying to do their best. But the good side of this, having a lot of degrees, is a lot of people are founding their own companies, you know, like, oh, now we are the Emmer Brothers Studio, and this is our first game that is based on the prototype that we developed on school. It's great, and stuff is appearing, and then people are learning. Then we have the game meets where everyone comes, or in Game Dev Camp, where everyone comes, and people from King and Game Loft came. I don't know, Ubisoft was also here. It's great, and what's even greater for me is knowing that everyone is focused on helping each other. That's really uncommon. I don't know if you have any idea. People almost in every art group or community wants to eat each other out. I know this by experience. Designers want to eat each other out. Oh, that guy got that proposal and so on. It's just because it's the nephew of someone. Or oh, that guy got a lot of money for that. Oh, what an outrage! My team is much better than his. And in video game community, you see that everyone is focused. If someone gets to some point, everyone says, great, I'm so glad that you've done it, because it's really important. I can tell you that the guys from Game Loft that's a big company still here in Europe, came to talk to me in Game Dev Camp, and they were like, this is really uncommon. In Spain, everyone wants to eat each other out. And here, we went to visit the studios, and you visit the stands, and someone in the stand says, oh, you like our game? So, thank you very much, but now you should see these other guys that are there, that they have all a cool game. And the other would say, and you should see that, oh, we are the same. Oh, you see about it? And then you should see that one that is over there. That's super uncommon. It's everyone focusing on helping each other to create a community, because everyone knows if someone is successful out there, super good for everyone. It's not a thing of competition. Competition sometimes is stupid. It's competition that when it's healthy, it's good. It's like, I want to do better than you and you want to do better than me, and we are both growing. Competition that is destroying each other, like, I don't like you because you are in the same path as mine and I want to poop all over you. I think that's super useless. That's what's going to happen is those two companies will destroy each other, and then everyone will cry that there's no companies.
Thank you.
Do you know if in the recent times how many companies in the industry have been created and failed in the country?
In our country?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of good examples, because like failure is also a good example. And video game companies usually tend to implode. It's not that uncommon. It's not a phenomenon restricted to Portugal. You know, these things also happening outside. Or people getting out of a company, then forming their own company that then is bigger than the other. This is common to happen. In Portugal, we are stable for a few years now, so there's not a lot of companies that disappeared. Videodroid disappeared, but as soon as Videodroid disappeared, B5 appeared, and Marmalade appeared. Marmalade hired a lot of the staff that was from Videodroid, and B5 took a lot of staff that was from Videodroid. So failing, that company failing, meant that those persons learned something, and they're already doing something. It's not a problem for failing. I don't see a problem in failing. It happened. Under Siege that did the PlayStation 3 game, sorry, not Under Siege, Siege Studios, they did Under Siege for the PlayStation 3. They failed. You can say, oh, they failed because they disappeared. But in their place was born Nerd Monkeys. And a lot of those people that were in Under Siege were even working outside of Portugal. And in Nerd Monkeys, they're not doing the same mistakes. They're learning from that. You know? Failing is not a problem. You know, companies come and go. People continue. That's the important thing for everyone to continue. Learn to fail, you will learn more.
I agree. And by the way, do you have any specific advice or warning regarding people who decide to go that path in creating the jobs instead of applying for them, just to ease the transition when they fail or they don't fail?
To the most persons as possible and listen to them. They have a lot to teach. I am still learning today, and I know some of these persons, we are friends, and I'm still learning today a lot of stuff. The more persons you know, the more persons you talk, you will learn from them, because they will teach you stuff. I remember a few years ago, someone wanted to, I'll open a studio, and I will rent a place in Lisbon, and it's going to cost me this much a month, and that's because there's this big sports newspaper in Portugal, which I not say the name, but I'll tell you there's a ball in the logo, that wants to make a big game, and they want to hire me, and I'll open it with my runner and say, take it easy, okay? And those are all great things, but they are probably all lies. Just do it, first work at home, and after you're being stable, get out of your home and do other stuff. And that's what happens. That newspaper didn't went through with the proposal, and the guy was almost opening a company, and with big, you know, just to open a company in Portugal is thousands and thousands of euros, just in taxes and opening and proceedings. It was really close to get into trouble. And take it easy. Everything, breathe everything at one time. Is it important for me to open a company? Where should I open? Where should I work? Can I work at home? Can I work in my garage? Those kind of stuff, you know. And everyone will always have something to teach you. Don't do this. It's a mistake. Don't do that. Now you just have to start talking to persons. With peanuts. the videomakers. If I talk to them, they're all over. Okay. Any more questions? Who is afraid? Quer dizer uma coisa aqui, tá?
Another. What would happen if a person looking for a job would delete his Facebook profile?
Well, you're not being found. Already come across that same situation one time when I went to national TV. They said, we cannot find you online, national TV. Can you send us a biography of what you're doing? That's when I learned. This was at the beginning of the decade. That's when I learned, because I was, oh no, social network, no, that's for wicked minds and people that want to share hidden photos and stuff like that. That's not for me. I'm so good, it's not for me. People will know me just because I'm that good. And then I learned, I have to have a social network that's, oriented for job. And so I opened the social network, oriented everything for job, and if you today go to my Facebook account, you only will find stuff that I'm doing. That's really important, because people will see, okay, this guy is being serious about it. It's really important. No jokes about that. And also not black humor. Black humor is really also, I know from outside, no one appreciates it. Those stuff that people say, oh, you should die with cancer on your ass. Those kinds of things are really not tolerated outside, especially now because there's this big polemical PR. Always
Well, yes.
Any more doubts? Okay, thank you very much.
Again, thank you very much for coming, and thank you, Ivan, for your talk. You are always welcome here.
Okay.
It's also true that we have a good relation between schools, which is
Also
also
correct.
we have Tiago Loureiro here also. So.
I want even to do this year on Game Talk. On Microsoft Game Dev Camp, I talked about game schools, where everyone talking about it, how it's going, and to understand where can we go, and where can we help this industry grow in even more. It's a challenge.
Yeah. So thanks a lot.